Welcome to Created Healthy. I'm Dawn Combs. It's a common idea that God gave us everything we need in nature, but do we believe it enough to walk that out in truth? Often the very same people who say this go looking for answers on how to use food and medicine from man-made sources. Everything man creates comes with a user's manual. Why would God be any different? I challenge you to join me in seeking revelation about our body, mind, soul, and spirit health by digging into His written word and in practicing pure science in the visible world of His creation. How important do you think it is that we are, as a culture, so disconnected from nature that you can spend entire days inside and never step foot outside or even look out a window? I'm reading in Luke 12 through 14 today, and I think that there's a lot of nature reference here that Jesus is making in these 3 chapters that I want to call out, and I think that it's important, really critical actually, that we reconnect to God's creation. And I think that there is absolutely an evil intention behind more and more making us doubt the safety of nature, making us more and more comfortable away from it, creating alternate realities that aren't part of nature. We are being encouraged to live separate from, and it's a big important impact in our health. We know that we see studies that demonstrate what grounding can do. Grounding being going out and putting your feet on the earth. There is true science there to back the need for us to have that connection to the soil. We see studies of what happens when people are under electric light all the time and aren't out in sunlight, moonlight, what's happening with sleep problems and fertility problems. So there is a very real connection that we are intended to have with the earth. But here in chapter 12, Jesus is talking to his disciples and those that are listening around, and he's talking about his purpose here. He says he's came to cast fire, but first, basically, I've got to do this thing. I've got to go and do this thing, and I'm really distressed until it happens. He is foretelling that he's going to die and be resurrected, and this was foretold, and this is coming, and he has to do it, and he's kind of distressed until he gets there because all of the good that is coming for humanity and the relationship between humanity and their creator God can't happen until he gets there. So he's talking to them about his just being the smartest person in the room and frustrated with everybody else's dumbness. He is saying, you all know how to read the signs of the weather. You can all analyze the earth or the soil and the sky. How can you not be analyzing the present time? Why do you not know on your own initiative? Why can't you judge what is right? Because it's tied in with nature, and you're seeing it, and you can read nature, and you have that relationship, and so it's right there in front of you. And I think about if Jesus were having this conversation today with so many of us, believers and unbelievers alike, are living this culture, this separation. And I think I'm most aggrieved for the believers here because there are so many that are partaking in all of the modern conveniences that are being set before them that create this separation, and they don't realize that the separation is between them and God. The more they separate from nature, the more they avoid going out and putting their hands in the dirt and experience the cold of a winter day and go out and see the storm coming up over the horizon. Those are things that we're now saying we have to protect against because the earth is scary and it is It's something that we need to prepare to not have. We need to be able to stand on our own. All the technologies that are being created to go around nature's systems are because we are breaking nature's systems, and we need to be able to, in the eventuality that it just stops providing for us, we need to be able to provide for ourselves. So we're so connected in this fake Franken food that we're eating for stability of the planet, and the lack of being outside, and the comforts that we provide, and the TV that takes us out of the reality of nature, that I despair that if Jesus was having this conversation with us right now, how many people can respond, yep, I do know how to read the signs of the weather. I don't need to go in and have the weatherman tell me that there is snow coming or rain coming, because I can see it. I can see it in the way the leaves have flipped over. I can see it in the change in temperature in the wind. I can see it on the horizon. I can read all of that. God gave us that for a reason. We are intended to be able to read the signs of what's going to be happening in our environment, because God is telling us who He is and what He's going to do through that environment. We are becoming so disassociated from looking directly at the truth of nature, and instead taking the word of somebody who is hiding behind a lab coat or a presidential seal, or somebody who's in a position of authority that is telling us what is happening in nature, instead of going out and seeing it with our own eyes. That connection is a direct connection to God. It is a direct connection to our health. And supremely, if we believe that Jesus is coming again, it kind of ties to our health in a major way. Our spiritual health, our emotional health, our physical well-being is tied up in whether or not we will see the signs and get on board. Get on board the ark. Get on board when we need to. We are told that not everybody will see the signs of this next coming, and it will be obvious. Jesus says it's going to be obvious, but will it be obvious to everyone? If people have been purposely separated from nature and they can't see God working through nature, will they miss it? Will they miss something as huge as God coming, Jesus coming back in the clouds? Will they look for an authority elsewhere as they've been trained and not look to the signs that are right in front of them? Will they be told to misconstrue the signs as something that can be explained away by man, and not as supernatural as our God acting? I think this is a really important message, and something that we should sit with for a little bit. Jesus goes on to say in this section, why wouldn't you try, if you were being hauled away to the judge, why wouldn't you try to fix things? You're being hauled away by the person that you have offended. Why wouldn't you try to fix things with them on your way to the judging, instead of waiting until you get there to have the judge pronounce the inevitable? Because that's what's going to happen. If we close our eyes to all the signs and we don't turn around and try to fix things with the one we're offending, we're going to stand in front of the judge and take the full penalty. When we can take a smaller penalty and we can be reconciled on our way to the judging. We're on our way to the judging, but can you see it? Are you aware? Are you spending time in God's creation and seeing what He's telling you and hearing the message that He's putting out? I pray that God is blessing you today and causing you to want to draw nearer, and causing curiosity and picking up His book and reading more along with me. I'm excited about what we will read together tomorrow, and I hope you come back and discuss. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share with a friend. And I'm always interested in hearing what God is laying on your heart. So drop me a rating or review, or join the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube at Don Combs Really.